Really interesting thing just happened. Now, I saw this popping up on Twitter. I am an in and out fan of Lolcowlive. I haven't watched it in a while, but I enjoy Lolcowlive kind of like people enjoy WWE. They know it's a facade. They know it's like, here's the thing with like WWE, a lot of it is scripted, but a lot of the stuff that happens in it as well is real, and people do get hurt, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into making that show happen. So part of it is real, part of it is fake, and that's how I've always looked at Lolcowlive. I know not all of it is real. I know some of it is fake. I know that it's more along the lines of a Jersey Shore than an actual real internet show, I guess. But I mean, everything you're watching on the internet, whether it be some of these like vlogs or whatever, they are made, there's a way that they're made that's going to be a little inauthentic in a way. Everything you're watching is kind of a performance based thing, otherwise they're not going to get popular. So you have to know that this is an entertainment industry, this is what it's done. So I've always seen it as kind of an entertainment show, and I knew what I was getting into. But I did see some crazy stuff go down on Twitter about, I don't know the behind the scenes or anything. I just saw that Wings of Redemption laid his wife out, just like straight up WWE style, threw her through a table. And I knew instantly. Sorry about burping there. Like, the Coke bubbled up and then popped. It happens, dude. What are you gonna do? Crucify me? But I saw that happen. I knew I needed to do more, and I knew my audience needed it too. So let's get right into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Wings of Redemption, real name Jordy Jordan, and Wings is somebody who has spent his entire life getting pissed off at games like Call of Duty live on stream for the entire world to see. And of course, if you're seeing him on this channel, you can imagine this guy's had a pretty unsavory past as well. Wings is somebody who has previously stated that he believes the age of consent should be lowered by 6 years. You do the math.
12.
There's also many clips of...
Again, I think a lot of these clips were pulled out of context. I think it was cringy when he said that. I absolutely. It's also hilarious because at that time it was a much edgier YouTube, so it was meant to be a joke. Him doubling down on it, though, that was cringe, dude. That was, made him look like an ass. But a lot of the stuff from PKA, like that time period, it was just like stuff to be funny. So I don't think that should be held against him. It does get like stacked on top of him because of his Lolcow status. And I think if it was like anybody else just making jokes, they would get a pass. But he doesn't because he's a Lolcow. That type of stuff never really bothered me. I'm like, dude, being edgy 15 years ago when the goal markers have changed. It's like when they cancel a celebrity over a tweet they made 15 years ago. I just don't care.
him online that show him to be somebody who treats animals horribly.
I just watched a video, Kittens and Caboodles, and it told me kittens always land on their feet. So I took this cat and I kept throwing him up to see if he'd land on his feet. Well, eventually the cat broke its...
Oh my gosh. You guys ever put a dog to sleep?
Yes.
Yeah, how did you choose the time?
Rifle.
That's
Shit, you're gonna pay $70 for...
Okay, so what I'm gonna say something a little controversial here. A lot of people in the country put their dog down by shooting him. I know it's not legal, but that's just something country people do. Like, if you don't want to hear that, that's fine. But a lot of people who live in rural areas know that their dog's sick, know that their dog's dying, go out and shoot it and bury it. It's just how things work, bro. Welcome to the world. It's not, I don't think it's like, I don't consider that like animal abuse. If the dog's dying, you're going to take it in, give it a shot, or you're just going to take it out and shoot it. I mean, the same thing's happening at the end of the day. The exact same process is happening. Would I shoot it? I don't think so. But it's at the perspective is the same to me. The end all result, 1 + 2 is gonna equal fucking 3, and they're gonna bury it at the end of the day. So I don't see a problem as much as, like, I don't see this as like that controversial, especially when I grew up in an area where this was like the normal fucking thing to do. This is what people did.
For a $2 bullet.
I wonder if you think about the dog in the same way that I do. You don't go in the back of your subdivision by the swing set where 5 neighbors can see your yard and start killing your dog.
No, you take him to the swamp. You live in North Carolina.
See, this is when you live in a rural area, you take him out in the hills, you take him to the swamp, you shoot him, you bury him, and it's sad. it's not, this isn't crazy, but like the subdivision, this is where people will twist something like this up into like an emotional plea, right? They'll turn it into this emotional thing where it's like, oh yeah, because in their head they live in a fucking suburb that is like nice. They don't think about how they can go out in the hills or anything. They don't do anything like that. They live a nice city lifestyle. That perspective is not the same. You grew up shooting squirrels and shit. Your dog was always there with you. He was your best friend, and now you're gonna let him go out and run in the woods one last time, and you're gonna put him down. I mean, it's better than being surrounded by a bunch of fucking doctors who the dog has never seen in a place the dog hates. At least it gets to run around, have a little fun in a place that it spends most of its time anyway. That's the way it was explained to me. That's the way I've always seen that. I think it's like, if you love your dog, you're like, oh, dude, I'm gonna go cook it a bunch of fucking bacon. I'm gonna fucking let it run around, chase. Like, it's not running around because it's fucking basically dead at that point. I'm gonna let it just like hang out in the fresh air, and I'm going to dig the hole, I'm going to put it in the hole, and I'm going to shoot it. Like, is this dark? Absolutely. But I don't think this is like, wouldn't hold this against Wings. This is normal perspective. This is normal perspective in a country, say, part of the world. Now, I know a lot of you people who are watching me in the, like, from a city thinking this is so disgusting. I'm sorry, bro. Welcome to the real fucking world.
There's swamps in North Carolina. I guarantee it. There's one called Hunting Swamp. It's about 6 miles from here. There's a bridge. You go there.
By the way, I personally don't think you should do this. I'm going to say that right now. I personally do not think you should do this because, one, it is very illegal, right? So it is very illegal to do this. And I'm not saying who I've known that has done this. I'm not saying, I've heard, mostly it was like in passing, and it was just such a like normalized thing in small towns that I never thought about it until I found out it was illegal. Also, just don't go to jail for something like this. Just take your dog to the vet. Like, pay the money, or just let it die naturally. Those are your options. I mean, the shooting thing is definitely illegal now.
You let them out, you shoot them, let them draw right out into the swamp.
Okay, so that's a dark perspective. I'm going to disagree with Wings here. If I personally was ever going to do something like this, which I'm not going to ever do something like this, I'd make it like the greatest last day of that dog's life. Or whatever. I would make it the greatest fucking day of that last animal's life, and I would make sure that I would make it a little fucking tombstone, or like one of the cross things with the fucking sticks, and I would bury it. It would be buried. It would be a real sweet thing. I would not just fucking get the fuck out of here and then kick it into the swamp hoping a gator eats it or some shit. That just seems cruel to me.
And then you let him just fall into the swamp?
Fall into the swamp.
Yeah, I'm not doing it that way.
But something
dude, that I was so in on defending Jordy there, and then he just went in the fucking wrong direction, my dog. Like, I pulled in some perspective from more of a country area. I had your back. I understood where he was coming from. And then just kicking it into the fucking swamp, man, what did it mean? Nothing to you? Like, dude, bury it. A little bit of ceremony here isn't a bad thing.
Mentioned at the beginning of the video is going to tie into what we're seeing today in a major way, because while Jordy used to get really mad at trolls on Call of Duty and freak out and break his equipment, now he's getting really mad at the people in his real life, because just last night, Wings was live with Boogie2988, his wife, a bunch of other people, and they were all attending Keemstar's Fat Camp, because Keem is running some streams where Boogie and Wings are trying to lose weight. I can imagine it's not going very well just by looking at them. But in the clip you're about to see today, Wings is sitting there next to Keemstar, and Wings just looks miserable. Now, that's not anything out of the ordinary. If you ever click on a Wings of Redemption stream, he is always looking like he's just completely void of life. He doesn't want to be there. And I mean, shit, you can go back like 10, 15 years and find tons of videos of Wings having the worst attitude about being a content creator. Even from day one, it seemed like he didn't really want to be doing this. He just knew.
Dude, even Wings, that's my biggest problem with Wings, is he doesn't seem to want to put in the 1% of effort he needs to pull him in a better direction. And it's sad to me because I gave him a lot of credit after he fought Boogie in the ring and they started Lolcowlive. This was all beneficial, but he just does not seem to care. He's miserable. He knows that he's not going to be good at anything else, so he is constantly just sad, I'm the victim. I'm the victim. I'm the victim. What's funny is Wings used to have like a very like conservative mentality where it's like pull yourself up from your bootstraps. When he was on top of the world at Call of Duty, he was like, yeah, dude, it's like, fuck you guys, you're just being lazy, you're being fucking. He had all this mentality about it, and then as soon as he fell from that fucking giant mountain peak, everyone in his mind was against him. And does Wings have to deal with a lot because of his trolls and shit? Absolutely. But being a pussy about it all the time is only going to feed them more, and being like sad on yourself like this is only going to feed them more. And if you would take the little bit of initiative to push yourself forward, none of this would be a problem. If you took these controversies, spun them into a success, you could be making so much money. The moment the controller thing happened, you should have been selling fucking controllers that are selling controllers, or selling fucking t-shirts that said I broke my controller. When people brought up the clip about the dog thing, just say take him behind. Have a shirt that says take him behind the barn. Now you might say, oh, that's gross. I don't give a fuck, dude. Make your bag, bro. He had so many clippable moments, so much crazy shit. He could have been selling t-shirts. He could have been making money, but instead he's sad playing Call of Duty on his fucking gaming chair with no ambition to do any better. He doesn't even clip up his own streams to post them on his YouTube channel. That's how fucking lazy this guy is. I took the simple idea that when I saw other people out there just clipping their streams like crazy and posting them on YouTube, I said, yes, I can do that. I can fucking do that. And I started doing it. I stopped fucking thinking, oh, well, why aren't people watching my reviews? Oh, this review didn't do well. Well, maybe next week. And I said, fuck this shit. I'm going to grab initiative by the balls, and I'm going to start putting content out. I'm going to make thumbnails. I'm going to make the tags. I'm going to fucking clip every stream. I'm gonna upload them 2 a day. I'm going to grind. I want this to work. I have the ambition, I have the drive to keep this shit going. And when I see one avenue's already set, figured out, I'm like, okay, how can I bring more buzz? So I start another thing and another thing, and I just keep pushing forward. And Wings is the type of person that's only existing now because he's the guy to be made fun of, because he's the fat, angry guy on the internet. And it's sad, but once you take that victim approach to it, you have nowhere else to go.
It would get him a good paycheck, and that has never been more true than it is in modern day, considering he agreed to go on Keemstar's Lolcow show with Boogie. They do it every week, and Wings, do you really think he wants to be on a show where he has to be labeled as a Lolcow? This is something he fought against the trolls with for years, saying, don't be treating me like that, man, I'm not no fucking Lolcow. Well, now, for a certain amount of money, you bet your ass he is.
Well, and that's fine, dude. This is why I gave him respect. 100% why I gave him respect, because he was finally able to like relish in the fact that he was a fucking Lolcow. And it was funny because I remember when the Boogie faked cancer thing popped up, and it was like a whole arc on Lolcowlive, and I was hooked, dude. I was hooked. He got the tattoo on his face. Destiny was calling him out. I was like, this is fucking awesome. I am so sold in on this, because like I thought it was more beneficial because they were talking about firing him all the time, which I know that was just part of a ploy to keep things interesting. But at the same time, I was looking at it like, damn, dude, this is hella smart. They are sitting here relishing in the fact that he's a Lolcow, while also saying that he might have stepped too far, which makes him more of a Lolcow, which promotes the show even more. And I'm like, fuck yeah, this is entertaining as shit. This is entertaining as shit. And it's like, if this ends up being like the whole thing about him pushing his wife down just for entertainment, I think the backlash would fall on Keem, to the point that Keem doesn't want any part of that. If I was Keem, I would. Abuse is a lot worse than faking cancer. I'm fucking sorry, it is. So I think this is a moment where it goes too far, and I think that this is the thing where they would have to cut Wings out of the situation, and he's fucked. He's back to just crying online on his fucking streams endlessly and not making money, because like he finally admitted what he was. He was finally putting himself in a better position of growing, but he still was the big sad boy all the time, and all that does is lead to you getting angry, and this was an eventuality of happening.
So Wings gets up on that show, and again, just a complete ball of just misery and sadness every time I see him on screen. And all of that seemingly culminated in the clip you're about to see here, because he's sitting on the couch next to Keemstar, and then out of nowhere, a fight breaks out. Now, before we get into anything else, I know I'm talking a bit, but I just want to say, this is probably staged. They probably went over this beforehand and were like, hey, Wings, get into a big fight with Keem. Let's, push him around a little bit. And then eventually your wife will come into the picture. And I mean, why would I not think that? This is the same show that had Boogie fake cancer. Like what do you expect? It's to get more reach, to get more, viral.
Well, to be fair, Boogie faked cancer way before the show ever happened. So what I think actually happened with the fake cancer thing is I think that they already started the seed. I think Destiny probably reached out there was to Keem. Keem played the I don't know, man. Oh, I'm Keemstar. I'm just sitting here. I'm just the bald gnome in the corner. I have no idea what's going on. Whoa, dude, I can't see the whole time. And then he pulled it out as it was gonna be either way, for Keem, this was going to be a massive win. He gets to fucking troll on Destiny for being wrong, right? He gets to fucking make Destiny look like an asshole, which Keem doesn't like Destiny. Or it was going to be a fucking win for Keem because he could do an entire arc of Boogie faking cancer. And basically guilt-tripping Boogie, making him look like an asshole. So that's where I think that a lot of people say that it's 100% staged, and I think it's more like WWE, where it's like we have an initial... Keem has this initial plan, this fucking goofy little idea, and he's like, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to see how this turns out. And he's basically just putting the fire underneath he's lighting the stovetop to cook. That's all I feel like this is. It's like, here's the initial idea. We're going to run with this, and I'm going to see how the dominoes fall type shit. Because that's how wrestling ends up. Yeah, they have an end goal. They have what's going to happen. They know the moves that are going to be done around. But, some of the injuries and shit are scripted, and Boogie just happened to be one of the injuries. So I could totally see from this perspective where they're like, you're going to get an argument, Keem was like, I'm going to push his buttons. We're going to turn it into an argument. It'll be a big blowout on camera where we're yelling at each other. And I think Wings, thinking he's the big bad man, decided to start making things a little violent. And I think it just got out of control. I mean, and if they did plan on it being a fight, I don't think it was ever supposed to hit the point that it did.
Clicks, and trust me, it will. This video's getting made at the end of the day, isn't it? But why would Wings agree to do this? That's the question I want to pose going in.
And again, I don't think he agreed to fighting Keem. I think the plan was they were going to disagree on something, and then Keem took it a little too far and caused Wings to get way more riled up than he should be.
This. If it's real, Wings is a piece of shit. If it's fake, why would you give your trolls so much ammo? And why would you agree to put your hands on your wife the way you did? So no matter what way you look at this, just know it's going to end with Wings looking like not only like a complete ass, but also...
Well, and this is something I have to say again. I don't think Keemstar would put his reputation on the line that much. Now, I'm not saying Keemstar's the greatest or the best or the most genius. I do think his reputation, even though people already hate Keemstar a lot, I don't think he's willing to absolutely obliterate his reputation for throwing a woman on stream. Like cutting a chick's hair for being whiny, absolutely, he would definitely do that, and that's why they did it. Like doing shit like that, yeah, but like actually assaulting a woman, I don't think was like his end all be all idea.
An abuser.
Fly down and scout the place and check out stuff you know what I mean? I don't have time for that. I gotta do a show every
Here's a
fucking
mistake
day.
that you made. Here's a mistake that you made. A $32,000 mistake. If we did this in April, we could have done this at Lord Rush's place for free with gigabyte internet. But you wanted it faster.
$355. All those waters.
Here's a mistake that you made.
What's that?
You think I'm gonna forgive you for this?
I don't give a fuck.
You say that.
I say
I
that.
promise you will.
Now, let's say this is real, right? And Wings is just a really fidgety, angry man because he's going through fat camp right now. He's not being allowed his daily allotted Pepsi and chili, and he's just very moody. But, like, if this is an argument over logistics and how much it would cost to do this at a different time, like the business aspects of everything, well, I'm just gonna say that if it comes down to Wings and Keemstar and you have to pick one to, like, plan an event, I'm gonna go with Keemstar.
Yeah, dude, Keemstar literally fucking engineered this entire thing, and it's been a massive success for everybody involved. Now, the other things he tried to plan, like the Lolcow women and, like, the Lolcow tech guys, it's all cringe, it's all bad. I didn't even fucking, like, once it started becoming the Lolcow multiverse, I just fucking didn't care. I mean, like, I could have seen, like, this turning into fucking Jersey Shore right away, and I was like, wow, dude, that could be cool, but I don't know.
Keemstar, probably. It's not like Keem's this master showrunner. It's just the fact that Wings would be terrible at it. If you let Wings run the show, you guys would be sitting on your computers playing Rainbow Six Siege all night.
Sabotage the brand, sabotage...
I'm not sabotaging the brand for a lie that you made.
Yeah.
I'm not sabotaging
yeah,
the brand.
you are.
You creating a lie sabotaging the brand.
And you're even calling it a lie. You know?
It's a fucking lie.
You're even calling it a lie.
Dude, look at fucking Boogie over there, just like, I'm keeping my fucking mouth shut so that I don't lose my job because this is the only money I have.
This is not a fucking
You're
lie.
calling it a fucking
What
lie.
part of it's not a fucking lie? Tell me which part of it.
It's not a
Look
lie.
right
It
there.
was a setup.
That's not a setup. It's a fucking lie.
And why are you getting loud in my face?
Because I fucking can.
Dude, are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? You better stop. Hey, you better stop.
his belly, the only thing you can see is his fucking rolls sticking out behind whatever this fucking light thing is. Bro. And fucking bald. Keemstar all being like all fucking Lex Luthered out over here, dog. Let's go. See, this is great. This is where the content's glorious.
You better stop. Wait, you better...
Dude, this is why I enjoyed the show. This right here, this chaos that gets brought, I enjoy the chaos, and like I said, dude, this is fun. This is that Jersey Shore fucking reality TV fun. This is fucking those people that watch America's Got Talent every year. This is why I watched the show, was this chaos right here, and this is the shit I enjoy, and I think that they were doing so well in it. But when you have chaos like this, eventually shit's gonna go too far, and I think that's what happened here.
So far, and I will just give my full honest opinion here based off of the evidence that is in front of me. This seems like it is Andy Ditch levels of fake. Like, I don't have any proof of that, obviously, but I watch enough wrestling to...
Yeah, well, and here's the thing, like, I think that maybe the argument was 100% planned, but I think that Wings doesn't know how to play it off well enough to cause this shit. I think that Keem had the plan. He knew that this would rile Wings up. He was poking the bear because in his mind, he has this glorious moment that he can post on Drama Alert, his Twitter, Lolcowlive. He knew that he could get him riled up, screaming like an idiot. And I think that he poked the bear too many times, and it's like there was a wrestler, Mick Foley, right? And like, I know most of my wrestling stuff from like fucking shorts and shit when I end up down rabbit holes. But he fell through this cage and his tooth went up through his nose. Now that cage was never supposed to break. They were never supposed to go through the cage, but it was thrown together shoddily and shit happens. And I think that's more what happened here. It was an initial plan to get to get Wings riled up, and the shit he fell through the fucking cage.
To know it. Like, this is a classic standard wrestling pull-apart brawl. Like, there's numerous reasons why I feel like this is fake, and there's a few I think it could be real, such as Keemstar losing his hat, and like, you don't see that every day. Wings' belly was also in view, but I'll just say this. Had this big bastard started charging at me, I'd have wailed on him. Like, why were no punches thrown?
Well, the moment you start throwing punches, it starts to turn into assault. So right here, you got to push a friendly shoving match where both people can walk away, whine about it, and how they're both the winners in the scenario, right? How they both said their piece. There was nobody actually like, you could still say that like one could say that well he was assault, well he pushed back. It's a back and forth argument pushing contest. So nobody's gonna like go out here and actually press charges and be like, oh dude, he assaulted me, blah blah blah. It's stupid, it's cringe, it's gay. But if you actually start throwing punches, like if Keem would have decked Boogie right, or not Boogie, decked Wings right here, it would have Wings is a bitch enough, he would have claimed assault. Which, like, so if you want to, like, that's in the terms of, oh, if this was real, I understand why I wouldn't throw a punch. Like, unless he went to throw a punch first, like, I would just, like, I'd hit him back with the push. I would fucking get him away from me, and I would do everything I can not to throw that punch, because the moment that punch is thrown, it becomes a lot bigger lawsuit, a lot bigger charges that get added into your thing, and I don't think anybody wants that.
And that's the biggest thing about it. Maybe you're like, they're friends, they're business partners, they're not going to actually hit each other. I don't know about that, man. I've seen my friends get into fights, and it's never like, oh, I'm gonna push you, and I want to put my hand in your face. Like, maybe it's just a normal little...
Again, this is somebody who's incredibly media trained. Keemstar's been doing this forever, and he knows the moment he decks fucking Wings, he's the bad guy in this situation, and right here he can play as the good guy, and Keem always wants to be the good guy.
Hustle, and neither of these guys were really about throwing punches. They weren't trying to hurt each other. I'm just trying to make sense of this, because Wings seems very, very agitated. Keemstar seems like he's had enough. They get up, they kind of go chest to chest in very slow motion here, and I mean, like, there's one push, there's another. I will say Wings putting his hand, like, directly in Keemstar's face does make me go, maybe that's true.
Yeah, and Captain Bald doesn't like being Captain Bald, bro. He always wearing a hat, always wearing a do-rag, always wearing a bandana, everything he can to cover the fact that he's bald as fuck.
They get a little bit of like a off-kiltered, oh, you're not supposed to see this camera view. The camera cuts, and when it comes back, you can just hear what's going on in the background. And this is just all to set up what's really about to go down soon. Because this fight between Keem and Boogie, like, again, we're just...
I don't know who this guy is. I think he was on Lolcowlive once. But dear God, bro, built like a cupcake. He's like a cupcake standing on two toothpicks, bro. Dear God, bro.
Determining here whether it's fake or not, but what happens later, whether staged or not, will make Wings look so much worse than he does right now. So things die down for a couple of minutes, right? Wings is nowhere to be found, neither is Keemstar, and Boogie's like showing off that he got a really good angle of the fight on his phone, only pushing that this is more for views than it is anything else. However, in the modern day, anytime there's a fight, the guy who gets the best angle is going to be showing that off, so can't really blame him for that. But I imagine right now, wherever Wings is at, he's probably giving his wife a pep talk. He's saying, Kelly, you're gonna do so good taking that bump. And by bump, for wrestling fans, that means getting dropped. For party goers, that means something else. But Kelly, I want these views so bad. I want them so fucking bad. But yeah, I'm gonna finally spoil it. Wings does push his wife to the ground. She lands on, like, this table. It's not like a theatrical wrestling thing where, like, he picks her up, puts her through a table or nothing. He shoves her to the ground. She lands on this, I guess it's a table. I don't really know what it is. But no matter if this is fake or if it is real, you are now somebody who is on camera putting his hands on his wife. You can quote me on this, because if I ever find myself in this situation, I want you guys to call me out on it.
Yeah, dude, there's never gonna be a time for any content. I love content. I am a content gooner. I fucking love this shit. I love the drama. I love eating it up, but you will never catch me like, oh, dude, look at my, oh, dude, if I threw you through this table, bro, and it, people think it's live, it'll be pretty cool, dude. It'll get us a lot of clicks, bro. Nah, dude, that's it. I just don't see this this is where I start to go, this might not be, or this is more real than I think that a lot of people think it is. And I think that there is no winning optically with that move. I don't think there's an optical win with this, and that's something that's that's important. Like, yeah, it's like, oh, we're making them look like idiots, ha ha ha. Like, look at this, we're throwing water balloons, this, that. We're gonna send them to a Trump rally, blah blah blah. That, it's like those all optically even if the main characters get hurt, it's not them going after somebody else, and there's nobody involved that wins after this. Like, there's no winning other than if you fire him. It's like, oh, then we can let Wings go and we give him a fuckload of money and that will be his golden parachute. But then he has to deal with the trolls forever. And I just don't see Wings signing up for that. I think that this just blew up out of proportion, or this went way past what it should have been. And I think that's what happened. I think it just got out of hand.
Couldn't pay me a dollar amount to be like, hey, Miss Smokey, I'm about to throw you on the ground. Like, you might get hurt and all, but, like, really, we need these views. Like, you know, I wanted them so fucking bad. You know, I want these views so bad. I want this clout. I want to have, like, you know, more views on our podcast. I just couldn't imagine that. So, I'm just going to go off the fact that this is real, because I can't imagine that Wings agreed to be now known as, like, this abusive husband on the internet, because that's what he's now.
Okay, we agree on that. I was kind of worried about the fact that he thought that this was all going to be staged, and I just don't see a reality in which that's happening. I don't think Keemstar would sign off for it. I don't think anybody would sign off for this. This isn't worth the clicks. Now, after it happens, yeah, you put it out, say, yeah, we have no other option but to fire Wings, which is what I saw on Twitter. It's one of those things that it's like, what else do you do? You know, what else? Like, there is no route that this is where I see that this is fake.
Now going to be known as. Like, don't get it twisted. His trolls have always been at his neck, but now they have good reason to yet again. And I'd imagine that Wings knows this. For years he was so against doing, like, even the Lolcow show because it would give his trolls more ammo. So I imagine if it is faked, it's because Keem threw some ridiculous dollar amount for him to now be the bad guy of the show, because Boogie had his whole situation last summer. You can't do it with him again, so now it's your turn, Wings. Again, I'm just looking for reasons why this would be faked, but at the end of the day, I can't believe Wings would put himself in this situation where now all he's ever going to be known as is the guy who threw his wife down on that stream that one time.
Dude, that's bullshit.
That's insane.
That is such bullshit. What even set him off?
And he's getting loud in my face. So I got in his face. I'm like, are you serious? And then he started pushing me. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna swing. You keep doing that. And he went to go grab me like this.
Yeah.
I do like the fucking imaginary Superman story that Keem starts to tell right here. Like, he didn't say I'm gonna swing. He was just like, what are you gonna do? And in his mind, he's like, he comes back and just starts ingratiating the story to the nth degree, where he's Superman Keem, where he's like, yeah, dude, I'm such a badass. It's just so fucking funny, dude. This is so great.
Like, that's where this came from.
Retro Super Chatted $20.
And I kept saying, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you.
I'm glad.
And then he wouldn't fucking. And then somehow it got broken up or whatever. He goes, I'm not bitch made. You think I am?
So Keemstar's trying to explain what happened in the fight, and really his whole explanation is it was all a blur. It all happened so fast, and you know, he said he's not bitch made. You think I'm bitch made? I mean, neither of you guys threw a punch. You just kind of pushed at each other. It was like a sumo match that Wings vastly outweighed you in. Keem makes sure to show off that bright red scratch mark he's got on his neck, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that was real. This wasn't like a full-on fight. It was more of a shoving match, and I wouldn't be too shocked to know that Wingo was clawing at people. He seems like someone who will just scratch and claw, which, you know, he said he's not bitch made, but there's really nothing more bitch made than getting into a fight and just, you know, scratching at your opponent, clawing at them like a big cat. And before you know it, he comes charging in like a fucking wildebeest, and shit hits the fan.
Now, I'm going to give you what I think happened here. Is I think he thought this fat fuck right here, I think he thought that fat fuck was the one who was actually holding on to him. I think he knew his wife was behind him, and he thought that it was this fucking guy holding on to him, and he knew that he could shove this bitch over and get him out of his way. And I don't actually think that he planned to shove Kelly. I think he planned to shove one of these guys, and it got way out of control. If we're going on the idea that, oh, this was all planned, these people were holding him back, I still don't see it being planned. I think he got pissed, said, okay, I'm gonna do this, and even if he said it would be good for content, I think he knew these fuckers would hold him back, and he would shove one of these guys down, or out of his way, and he would get past him and blow up in Keem's face again. And I think that when he shoved, he thought it was this fat fuck, and it was his wife instead. That's my breakdown. That's my play-by-play of what actually happened. That's what I think, anyways.
So let's look at this again in slow motion, and you...
Or this guy. I think maybe he didn't know who was in front of him in like anger. That's like really like toward Wings. Otherwise, you're just a piece of shit, dog, who threw your fucking wife down, dude. And you should, like, your days on the internet are fucking cooked.
Tell me, is there any other way to chalk this up other than Wings throwing his wife to the...
She bounced so fucking hard, dog. There's, like, I just don't see this as being staged. I think he just fucking lost it and thought one of these other guys were holding it, and he just shoved fucking blindly, angrily, and realized later what he'd done.
The ground. In the hours since this has happened, Kelly has claimed that she tripped, and Wings keeps saying, oh, it was a mistake, I didn't actually push her down, she slipped. Like, you can't be serious when it's that cut and dry on camera. There's nothing you can say about it. I get, right, that they may have chalked this up and been like, Wings, push her down. There will be something there to break her fall. Not really. Not really. There was no give to that shit at all. But so it's like, what is this? If this was staged, why is Wings like, yeah, man, it's cool. The whole internet can call me an abuser, because we are. We absolutely are. And if this is real, then you're just straight up an abuser. Like, why would you put your hands on your wife, even for content purposes? This isn't like some, oh, man.
There's literally no win to this. Absolutely whatsoever. There's no win. This is optically looks so fucking bad.
This is crazy. I can't wait to see what happens next. This is alright, dude, can we just ban this guy? And I'm pretty sure they did. I'm pretty sure Keemstar said he won't be on the show anymore, although that, my friends, we'll have to see to believe. But I don't know about you guys. I can already see it now. Give it a couple weeks, a couple months, Wings will be doing his stream, getting super chats saying, dude, you put your hands on your wife, you're a scumbag, and he'll be like, man, don't you know anything about, like, you know, scripting and, like, how we do shows? Like, of course, man, she knew I was going to put my hands on her. Like, stop trying to make this something that's not. I can see him now trying to pretend like this is no big deal somewhere down the line. But if everything they're saying is to be believed, which, again, take it with a massive grain of salt, Wings is gone from the show. Keemstar's all shaken up because he did not see this coming. He did not expect Wings to charge at him like this, let alone then turn his anger to his own wife. So, yeah, I'm a bit conflicted on...
Wait, I mean, right here, we do see that after watching second clip of Wings slapping and grabbing Kelly's arm on the way to Fat Camp, we have made the decision to terminate our relationship with Wings of Redemption. And, of course, then he does the Keem thing where he fucking... yell, it's a lie, then choose two characters on the field. Both characters deal damage to each other, or to each other equal to their attack power. Oh my god, boss fight cards, bro. This is, like, of course he's fucking milking the shit out of this. Dear god, welcome to Keemstar, dude. I mean, that's what he's been doing since his early days on YouTube. Just find a drama, talk about the drama, fucking milk the shit out of the drama, and he's got some fat fucking cows here to milk.
On this, but like I'm 99% sure this is all something they drummed up. Of course, now you see Wings looking at his wife, telling her to downplay it. Other women are running in, being like, get off of her. And I can understand...
Yeah, I don't know who this chick is, but she's a baddie.
Why they'd be upset if this was real. Like, you just saw Wings push his wife to the ground, who, may I add, by the way, Wings' wife, Kelly, has gone through major weight loss. So good on her, but I mean, why would you stay with this guy after that?
This is
Again,
Wings of Redemption.
Even if it's staged, this is your husband coming to you and saying, hey, you know, can I harm you on camera just so we can get some extra clicks? Hey, can I throw you to the ground so that Twitter talks about me more? And again, what does he think he's going to get out of this? Is it the all publicity is good publicity method where it's like, well, at least we get a ton more viewers now. All people going to call Wings a piece of shit, when it's like Wings...
Well, and another thing about this, dude, here's another perspective I have where I don't think that this is like Keemstar's grand plan to have Wings throw his wife, because he's not really doing a whole lot else. He's got people running the Drama Alert Twitter, right? He does I think he still does Drama Alert on Snapchat, which he got paid a fuckload of money to do it. But he's been saying he's going to bring Drama Alert back to YouTube forever, and he has yet to do that. He is yet to make another YouTube video. I mean, I look at, like, maybe he is doing, like, I don't know, dude. It's, I'm not seeing him post that frequently. It all seems to be old stuff. You look at his videos, right? I look at his videos on Drama Alert, and the last one was a year ago. I don't know when this short was made. Let's check it out right now.
Kai Cenat was surprised.
This kid is going.
Kai Cenat was surprised with the zebra.
When was this? Like, I don't. 11 days ago. So I guess they're posting shorts.
Kai Cenat was.
They just don't post long form anymore. So I guess they moved shorts back. I guess they launched that again. So maybe he's overseeing that. But to be real, I think this is his big, one of his biggest projects, because he had that fucking alien thing where he launched this like weird alien information website. It was supposed to be like Alien Drama Alert, and it fucking flopped. I mean, he just seems like he's full in on this fucking Lolcow universe because it's making him a fuckload of money, which I think everyone knew from the moment that he had the idea for him, or for DSP, Wings, and Boogie to be on a show. He knew this was going to be a money-making genius. And when when DSP pulled out and he realized he could get Wings and Boogie to box, I mean, he's been full in on this shit, and I don't see him jeopardizing it to this degree, because again, after this moment, there is no keeping Wings on the show and still having good faith from any audience. Like, Keem already gets a lot of hate. He gets like tons and tons of hate on the internet, but he would be fucking crucified if he didn't fire him. And like, Wings did, like, I could see them doing an arc where months down the line they have it where he goes to counseling. It's a whole counseling arc that's way down the line. He figures himself out. He comes back and he's the new Wings. And we're bringing Wings back. Wings has gone through counseling. He's done all this stuff on his own dime, or I paid for him to do it. If they do a whole arc, they could eventually spin this. But as of right now, there's no other option but to fire him.
Wings has been trying to fight against this for years, that he's not a bad guy, the trolls need to knock it off, and now it's only going to get exponentially worse, and he can blame nobody but himself, because what did we just see on camera? Wings throwing his wife to the ground. There she is. There's Kelly right there. She does not look too happy with this.
Well, I mean, if you go back a second and look at Wings' face, you could tell he's fucking lost. He knows he did something wrong. He's watching his fucking career currently implode, and all the goodwill he got back from the whole trolls, because I'm sure that since his Lolcowlive thing has came out, I'm sure that his troll intake has been a lot better, and he's kind of gotten some goodwill because it's a funny show, and they have instant content to just clip and make fun of, and now he's realizing he just fucked all of that up. There's no way to win in this.
And he can blame.
I just don't think he can fake that. I don't think he's got the acting chops to do it.
Nobody but himself, because what did we just see on camera? Wings throwing his wife to the ground. There she is. There's Kelly right there. She does not look too happy with this, but of course, I don't know. I don't know. No matter which way you cut it, this is awful. If it's real, Wings is just straight up throwing his wife to the ground, and if he's doing it live here on camera, I'd hate to know what happens off the camera. And if it's scripted, Wings, what is wrong with you? Why would you go through with this? Because now there's footage of you out there putting your hands on your wife, and it's just, it's exactly what people always accuse you of, Wings, being a complete...
I love Boogie's face, just like, this is I just lost my fucking co-host. This is trash.
Utter piece of shit. This was a long-ass stream that they were doing, so I don't know where exactly this happened in, like, the many hours they were live, but this edit right here was found over on Breaking Banquet's channel, and that will be found in the link in the description below. Dude makes awesome content on Wings, and if you want to know more about this guy, I suggest going over there to check it out. But, like, this was happening all day yesterday on this stream. Wings at some point, you know, of course, put his hands on his wife. Boogie had a major health complication at one moment and fell asleep while they were watching a movie. They played that up like he almost died, but again, here he is fine and well, so I can imagine that wasn't that big of a deal. Boogie himself had a bit of another freak out, but anytime he freaks out, it's again, like, it reminds you of
dude, the Boogie freakouts, he plays it up so fucking hard that it just feels unbelievable, because you could tell that he knows that it's content because he's been making content like Francis for years, that he knows that he can get the clippable moments, and he knows how to manipulate it to make that shit, because the dude's been manipulating everybody for his entire time on YouTube. So this dude knows how to fucking make this this money run. He knows how to make this shit work in his favor, and I don't think that Wings is smart. Like, he's not dumb. I'm not saying Wings is fucking retarded. I mean, he is retarded, but in a different kind of way. I just don't think that Wings has the ability to play it up. And if he did have this idea where he was going to rush in, and he's like, oh, it would be so good for content if I rushed in, I think that he didn't think about the working stuff. And if he did plan this out, I don't think he planned it going this way. I think he thought that he could jump back in there, get another clippable moment. He could be the big, they could have the big drama around him for a while. It could be all on Wings instead of watching Boogie's downfall, and it would make for good content. I don't think he saw it playing out this way.
Fake cancer thing. You remember the Tipples freak out from last summer? Well, that was when he got exposed for faking cancer, and he went on that long, bombastic, really just over-the-top freak out that now, when you look back on it, looks staged as fuck. So, with this going on, I don't know. I don't know what the outcome was supposed to be. If they really didn't see this happening and this was all legit and off the cuff, then, you know, Wings, it's just on Wings. Wings is the one who looks like the biggest piece of shit here. And again, I mean, even if it isn't staged, Wings still looks like the worst person in the room. It would just make no sense why anyone there would think this was a good idea to go through with. But let me know what you guys think.
I mean, I think the whole situation is crazy. I want to check out Breaking Banquet to see what we have. Ooh, one day ago, the plot thickens. Let's get into this real quick. See what I want to see, like, the newest what's going on with this, because we know the fight happened. We know the shit went crazy. I mean, let's jump into,
to get started.
We're gonna jump into where the fight happened. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna get the actual breakdown of the argument and the fight. I think that it's important context.
What are you doing?
You're crashing out.
I'm not crashing out. You're just making a lie up to make yourself look stronger. Here's a mistake that you made. You creating a lie sabotaging. Look right there.
Why are you getting?
We met her halfway.
If you think that we're gonna step away from this, and you think like, oh yeah, I made a mistake, or Boogie's gonna be like, oh, Boogie made a mistake, or anyone here, no. I mean, you could agree.
The way you're crafting it makes it look like she just showed up and you're looking like, oh, the savior to her, instead of her coming to you begging and crying and doing all this.
The only difference...
Well, she did the begging there, but she also did the begging behind the scenes.
She begged for like 4 days, and we gave in, and we go, what will it take to get you here? And she threw a number out. We met her halfway.
If you think that we're gonna step away from this, and you think like, oh yeah, I made a mistake, or Boogie's gonna be like, oh, Boogie made a mistake, or anyone here.
Somebody on Discord said reality TV doesn't try to claim it's real.
But the one
they call it reality TV.
But the one we made up isn't far from what actually. Because I know I'm up because of the breakfast. Because it's really controversy. Yeah, because there's a big controversy. Everyone's been exposed as fake, and they all want their work.
No way, nothing got exposed as fake.
Stop ruining the magic wings. You're biting the only hand that will ever feed you.
Wings is the type to go to a magic show and be like, "That's how they're doing it right there, pimp." You know.
Yeah, I'll give the prestige away.
Get a scale. I want to weigh in.
Okay, what?
It's on the table, I think.
Whoa! You pee first, because I know I'm up because of the breakfast.
Well, I'm gonna.
Never again.
Something.
I'm trying to get to where the actual argument comes out to where they start the fight. And I was trying to get a little pretext, and it seems like they were talking about that Becky Boo bitch and like all the shit that went on with her, which I don't care about any of that. It seems like that was all like, well, let's see how upset she gets and how we can make this so it's more entertaining. That shit all seemed pretty staged. That's straight up wrestling bullshit right there. That was reality TV bullshit. But I want to get to where this pops off.
So we're gonna sit here in silence? You gonna say something?
I'm not telling you anything ever again.
Fine by me.
And what I'm getting here is Wings started talking about some of the shit that happened behind the scenes, some of the stuff that was going down. Keemstar figured out a way to milk it up, and then Boogie was like, or not, Wings was like, oh, well, I'm going to tell everybody some of the behind the scenes conversation, which makes everybody look like assholes and makes the whole thing... This is the problem with Wings, is I don't think he was ever on board with the idea of how to make the show successful. Because if it was just these fucking boring ass fat people talking like it was at the beginning, I don't think it would have been entertaining. It wouldn't have popped off. The thing that makes this show great is it is reality TV. That's where my position has always been. I've never had the idea that this was like actually really happening. I saw it as fucking daytime soap opera drama shit, and I think, and that's why, like, even though I love Tommy C, when Tommy C left, I think that the show got a bit better because it stopped being an actual podcast. It stopped being a show and it started becoming drama.
Person here trying to leak shit.
Team, cheer the hell up. We love you.
Motherfucker act like his baby mama died or something.
I've had to deal with every person here trying to leak shit, say everything's my fault, you know, multiple different challenges with the internet and everything else. You know, people criticizing me, mainly Wings, for picking this place. When it's like, dude, what am I supposed to do? Fly down and scout the place and check out stuff? Like, you know what I mean? I don't have time for that. I gotta do a show every
Here's
fucking
a mistake
day.
that you made. Here's a mistake that you made. A $32,000 mistake. If we did this in April, we could have done this at Lord Rush's place for free with gigabyte internet. But you wanted it faster.
Wait, 355. All those waters.
Here's a mistake that you made.
What's that?
You think I'm gonna forgive you for this.
I don't give a fuck.
You say that.
I say
I
that.
promise you will.
Just push on the back.
What's the plan here? Easy up. That's fucked.
I don't know. It's always just sabotage the brand, sabotage.
I'm not sabotaging the brand for a lie that you fucking made.
Yeah.
I'm not sabotaging
Yeah,
the brand.
you are.
You creating a lie sabotaging the brand.
And you're even calling it a lie. You know?
It's a fucking lie.
You're even calling it a lie.
What part of it is not a fucking
You're
lie?
calling it a fucking
what
lie.
part of it's not a fucking lie?
It's
Tell
not
me
a
which
lie.
part of it.
It's not a
Look
lie.
right
It was
there.
a setup.
That's not a setup.
And
It's a fucking lie.
why are you getting loud in my face?
Because I fucking can.
Dude, are you fucking...
Are you fucking serious? You better stop.
Hey,
you better stop. You better stop.
Wings,
You better.
And that's where it cuts. That's where it cuts. Then we got fucking people sitting around.
Tried the double sonic smasher. Now
So far, what I'm seeing is exactly what he explained in that video, so I'm not really getting a ton of context going here. I'm not getting a ton of new information. I thought that there would be more. It just seems like Keem did a setup, thought that he could play it up more, and they didn't want to go behind that, and it seemed like Keem made a big fucking mistake picking this place. I want to be straight out and say that I think that that is a huge mistake, and I think when he called Keem on that pissed Keem off, and Keem thought, how can I throw this back at Boogie to where he's the bad guy, and I'm not looked at like the asshole anymore. And because Keem does not like looking like the asshole, and I think that right there is what set this shit off. I think that was enough to set it off, and... let's go to where the action happens. Let's go to the fucking cool shit.
Pushing me. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna swing. You keep doing that. And he went to go grab me like this. Yeah. Like, that's where this came from.
Retro Super Chatted $20.
And I kept saying, I'm gonna...
Man, he's bruised the fuck.
Hit you. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you.
I'm glad
and
he
then,
didn't say any of that.
He wouldn't fucking... And then somehow it got broken up or whatever. He goes, I'm not bitch made. You think I am?
Gaga Super Chatted $19.99.
Look at Boogie just sitting there sucking as much wiener as he possibly can.
McJugger Nuggets really killed it on this one.
Dude.
Hey! That's your fucking wife now. Go calm down. That's your wife, man.
Holy shit, dude. And like actually watching this shit play out way worse than like I think that's one of the problems when you see people like do the commentary thing where they talk about it and they break it down play by play, is I think you miss out on the actual explosiveness of it.
That's your wife they're hurting now. Calm down. Calm down.
Get the fuck away from her. Get the fuck away from her. Whatever you want to do. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Go calm down. Go calm down.
That's your fucking wife.
Why are you lying about me?
What's the lie? Sometimes you lash out when you feel like you made a mistake or other people
Bro, I like how he's pushing her away. Get away from me, bro. That just makes it worse, bro. You should be comforting her. You should be like, I don't know, dude. Like when I saw the clip, I thought that he was like trying to comfort her and that other chick stepped in. He just seems like he's being a dickhead, bro. Nah, dude, should be fired.
Don't worry
about me. Worry about your wife. Worry about your wife right now.
That's your fucking wife. Yeah, dude. What the fuck?
Mike here does $20.
That's your wife.
Tell makeup artist to do a better job on the fake injury. By the way, this is a W storyline.
Big ups to this guy for keeping a cool head throughout this whole situation. Like, here's the thing. You either go in and everybody goes in on him, and it becomes much more of an explosive situation with everybody yelling at him, or you have every once in a while you have to have somebody there that has the cool head, or it will become way worse of a situation. So big ups to this guy, whoever the fuck he is.
Whoever cooked this script up is killing it. This script sucks.
Bro, this fucking guy's about to have a fucking heart attack, dude.
Yeah, dude, what the fuck?
Mike here does $20.
That's your wife.
Tell makeup artist to do a better job on the fake injury.
Oh, dude's like fucking having a respiratory attack right now. This is better than all the exercise he could have done at this fat camp.
By the way, this is a W storyline. Whoever cooked this script up is killing it. This script sucks.
Yeah, right. Yeah, faster than a football player, way funnier.
I'm not talking to y'all ever again, but here's the fact I want to say. It's Keem's inability to ever look bad and always wanting to lie that created...
Bro, oh my god. Keem's inability to look, not wanting to look bad. Bro, you just fucking shoved your wife to the ground, dog. Like, there's no script in the world that's gonna make you, make your little fucking meltdown about Keem right here make you look good, dog. Dear fucking God, bro. You just watched your paycheck fly away.
It's sensitive.
That's it.
I disagree, but... Love you guys. Love you, Jordy. You guys will be all right.
Take care, bro.
Anyone who's this upset enough to push his wife needs anger management.
Okay?
Smiling Oni super chatted $19.99. Breaking Banquet gonna get rich.
Yeah. He'll go
Penny 1001 super chat. Everyone wave to Breaking Banquet.
Hi, Breaking Banquet.
That's a great clippable moment, dude. I want to see the fallout, dude. The plot thickens. Let's see how this goes, dude. I'm interested. I'm in. This is going to be a long video for me when I release this. We're going so fucking hard into this. We're doing more research than anybody else is doing. We're finding out about all this shit.
He looked at her dead in her eyes and pushed her.
Cat's out of the bag.
Damn, bro. There used to be this psychopath that followed him that had the best fucking opening. It was like a Fast and Furious opening, but I think the guy was actually that ended up getting arrested because he was a psychopath. But he had this thing where it was like driving, he's like, it's all about family. He's like, yeah, well, I hope your family dies in an automobile accident. And it was the best fucking intro.
We're beeping him, right?
Yeah, so
Wait, he slapped what?
Her arm.
he grabbed her arm.
Well, let me lay the context. I didn't know we were going to talk about this today, but I guess the cat's out of the bag. Yeah. There's a video, Xylee, that we just watched an hour ago. Twiggy was riding with Jordy and Kelly.
Okay.
And at some point, can I borrow your arm for a second?
Yeah.
At some point, she was driving the car and Wings did this to her. Okay? Now, don't get upset.
Yeah, I'm not going to get upset with you.
It was harder than that. But that
Harder than that.
You can
But you can hear it. It's like, stop!
Nope.
Right? And that alone is not great.
Wait, was this her driving arm?
This is
like
her
her
driving. Yeah, she's honking the horn. He grabs her arm, yanks it loud enough, and I don't know what to make of that video.
So a pussy body woman beater scared he's gonna get shot and land up for her beeping the horn. So he slaps the shit out of his wife. Make it make sense, motherfucker.
Yeah.
How about that?
I need to see this.
No, driving here. Driving here.
What the
Yeah.
hell?
Yeah, it's bad.
I don't know. This is breaking. This is.
So yeah, this is interesting stuff. Like, here's the thing too. That's only gonna make this shit worse. It's gonna conflate this. That puts more context between the tweet I showed earlier, because I had no idea what they were fucking talking about the earlier segment. So it just seems like this shit's compiling.
Yeah.
Brent,
compiling on top of, like, it's stacking up. Oh, fuck off with your cum goblin nonsense.
I guess the big question right now is what happened yesterday, an isolated incident, or is it a pattern? And even as an isolated incident, it's bad.
Well, it's not isolated because you have almost.
But even as an
Yo, what happened to, like, I see all these people here. What happened to Boogie's girlfriend, dude? I'm honestly curious. Did they break up or some shit?
Isolated incident, one of that would be a very, very bad thing. Within a week, Twiggy films this video and he deleted it for the record. And because he mentioned that it existed, we got him to reestablish it on his camera, like get it back off, because you can do that when it's on the camera. You can recover it. And he did that for us, and we have now all seen it, and I guess the rest of you. It is, that establishes a bit of a pattern.
Mental abuse is just as bad. You can't isolate it. If he did it in front of all these people, he's doing it at home in private. And you know what? He says if there's no mark, it's not abuse.
I gotta walk away for a second.
Yeah. I
Okay?
understand.
I'll be back.
I'm sorry, by the way, if that was triggering at all.
I got.
Yeah, I think what I'm reading here is it looks like they broke up, dude. It looks like maybe they broke up. I have no idea. I don't know where his little fucking 12-year-old girlfriend is. It's kind of weird she's not here.
This is a very sensitive topic for pretty much everybody that's in this room, I think.
Again, I've been out of the Lolcowlive sphere for a while because I was, like, listening to it, having fun with it, and then I fell out at some point, and then I check back in every once in a while, but I haven't been in on the newest arcs of the chaos. So this is all fucking news to me, buddy.
And even if you have not dealt with domestic abuse in your own life, you certainly know someone has. You know the impact that it has on them. Tina, you've seen this video this morning. I want your opinion on it. Out of all the people that should have an opinion on it, I think you're at the top of the list. You're very open about what you've experienced.
It's abuse.
You think that was abuse?
Yeah, he controls her, he abuses her. Period.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she starts, no, don't call me a victim. Okay, why not? That's what you are.
Well,
She's making excuses. Oh, he don't mean to slap me, or I tripped over this. It's probably worse undercover. Y'all don't see it all. I guarantee you it's probably worse at home.
I mean, Kelly stands by her man. There's no arguing that. And like,
A lot of abusive people do until they die.
That's how it's
Till they die.
Well, I've seen a whole lot of emotional abuse.
I mean, there's.
Yeah.
All right. It looks like Keem shows up here. I want to hear his perspective.
Right?
Been together that long. How long do you think you've been together, bro?
Well, haven't you been together a long time?
5, 6 years, maybe.
You have a seal.
Yeah, but they live a separate life as a married couple, though.
So initially we were talking about suspending Jordy for like 90 days with a potential path to come back. We're at a point now where I don't know if there is a path back. So as of right now, he's fired off of Lolcowlive.
Boogie and Tina, please educate us viewers how and where to report Jordy Jordan to the nearest Conway, South Carolina Domestic Violence Abuse Authorities. Or is this the jurisdiction of Texas Police Report?
There's no one here that messes around with that, you know, men laying hands on females. It's just the Twiggy clip.
Comparison to Jordy abusing his wife. I just got out her of a bad DV situation ton. The person on getting NG abused Downey leave whilst they choose life over DATH. Kelly, please stay safe and get out of that life.
You know, me and Boogie came up with a pretty good plan to help Jordy. Jordy asked us for help, and we agreed we would help him.
Yeah.
So we were in the process of like, okay, let's get him into counseling. Let's do stuff with him and Kelly so we can kind of like, you know, end this abuse stuff. I mean, everyone has seen the verbal abuse, like how he talks to her, how he treats her, not wanting to celebrate her birthday, like just like it's some pretty gross stuff outside of anything.
I mean, he's kind of just like, here's the thing that pisses me off with like Boogie, or not Boogie, with Wings, is it just seems like it was a marriage of convenience, and it just doesn't seem like he's happy, and he's not trying to make her happy, and she seems to like be really working hard to better herself, but it just seems like he's just being this sad sack piece of shit. And I don't think we're going to get much more out of this, so I think I'm going to cut this out here. I did see a tweet from Keem saying that he was going to counseling, which good. Maybe something could change him out of that perspective of, I'm not just here to make money, I need to better myself in my life and do better things. Because that was kind of my put out on like the show in general, is even though Boogie is a clown, it did seem like he was a clown and doing this for the show and working better for the show and playing things up for the show. Everything was for the show, and I could see a drive in him. And Wings seemed to have like the drive for like what seemed like 6 months out of like a year, when he started actually putting things on his channel, started working a little bit harder on his channel, also doing the Lolcowlive thing. But then he just kind of like it's like a spurt of inspiration, and then it's fucking jizz in the wind, it's gone forever. And I just see that like I think something drastically needs to change for him, and he needs to do better. And I think the best path is to fire him and like get him counseling, and maybe like 6 months down the line, if the show's starting to fail, bring him back after a bunch of counseling, if you really want to do that, because I don't know who else you're going to throw in the sea. I don't know what other fucking clown you can throw in that's going to bring as much power as Wings brought. I mean, don't get me wrong, again, I'm going to throw a little trash toward Tommy C, but Tommy C was never the right fit, I think, for a show like this. Tommy C is a commentary YouTuber. He is always going to be a commentary YouTuber. He seemed like he was never fully, like, sold into this Wings, or to this Lolcow thing. I think that Keem just wanted somebody like him to run the show, and I think that he misjudged the idea that Tommy was gonna spur him up. He kind of seemed to play the level-headed guy, and they needed somebody here who was gonna put a fire under their asses and make them chaos. And I think Keem was always the best fit for that, and that's why this show was a success. It wasn't because of anything else other than that. And I'm glad that they forced Keem to pay Tommy C out, because I think that was the right thing to do. I think that was the right push. I know Keem disagrees, but I think full-heartedly that was the right push. But I just don't see, I think this is way worse than faking cancer in a lot of regard, because you can spin faking cancer to have as much fun as possible with creating content. I just don't see a way to spin this other than to shut him out of the show for a while and send him to counseling and have him come back a different guy. There's really no other way if there's ever a path to Boogie coming back to the show. But that's my 2 cents on the whole situation. The fucking giggity schmoodle man showed up, gave you his opinion. This might not have been the most entertaining thing for you, but it was sure as fuck entertaining for me, and I've been rock hard the entire time. But thank you so much. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.